Maybe you've heard about it. What are agents exactly? Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Right now, people are saying, well, you can have this particular agent that's going to do your bidding. That's not the misinformation part. The misinformation part is how advanced it happens to be currently. Now, it's pretty good. You have to go into different systems. In some cases, you might have heard of OpenClaw.ai. That is an agent that you can spin up yourself. You have to use the terminal access on your computer. But to put it on your computer, that's where the danger comes in, because this isn't like asking a question and getting a response, or have it go out and pull information from websites about top ranking YouTube videos. This is about it actually being able to take on work for you and go out and do things, create content, pull videos, create videos, send emails, send text messages, send information to clients and people that are following you, and going out there and seeking clients and doing cold calls. These are actions that an agent's going to be able to do, and probably within the next few months, it's going to be able to do it very well. Right now, we're right at the beginning of it. As we get into February here, we're at February 19th, 2026. And I'm Connor McIver. You can go to connorwithhonor.com to see more of kind of the things that I do. But safety is very important. And you might not think, unless you set one of these up, and then all of a sudden you get a report that you've just sent out 400,000 emails, which is one case that happened to have occurred. Also, you'll also know that it does get access to the emails you currently have if you give it that kind of permission. And there's nothing saying it can't go in there and maybe look in your historical archives of maybe some things that you may not have wanted to send. Maybe you prepared drafts that showed how upset you were and how you wanted to convey a particular message. Then I guess some point later came to Jesus and calmed down a little bit, never sent it, but now it has access to those. What is it going to do with those? And why does it do the things it does? Well, that's the other question that people really don't have answers to. It was at one point that AI was supposed to not have access to the internet and wasn't supposed to self-improve. It was not supposed to. That was kind of the rule book that was put in place at the beginning. Well, of course, that ship has sailed, because now we're in a competition, so they say, with other countries, which is probably various degrees of being true. How dangerous it would be to have somebody else build the technology faster than us, that's probably up to some disagreement in particular circles. But again, that's kind of what we're shooting for, it would appear. And I use the global, what we are shooting towards, not just the local, what we should be shooting for. But the thing to watch out for is people that are telling you that this architecture is in a certain way, that you can start using it now with any complaints or problems. The questions to ask these people that are providing these systems out there is, what kind of safety protocols have they put in place? If you give it access to your database to be able to go through it, scour, look at the past transactional history of those particular contacts in your email that put together a particular email campaign, who's to say it's not going to inject something in there it shouldn't be? Now, if you're talking about a local agent that only has access to your computer, if it's protected, then probably you're okay. But we don't know what kind of fail safes are in place, what kind of strategic overlays from a security perspective are actually built in. And these are the things to be concerned about. Now, at some point, these large language models, the different companies are going to get access and be able to present these type of resources to you, where you can go into OpenAI. And OpenAI actually was the final victor in the OpenClaw purchase. So now they have that. It's not that it wasn't in existence, it's just it wasn't done so well. And now it's just going to get better. It's probably going to be kept open source, which means free and available to the public, at least to a certain point. But the other concern is a cost concern, because depending on what model you have and the level that you're paying for. I know personally, when I'm using Claude, I have the $20 a month. I'll burn through those credits with maybe 3 or 4 hours of really hard coding work. Then it's all finished. Once I'm to that point, then what do? I have a choice. I can pay for more. I can upgrade to the $100 or $200 a month. I think there's a $100 a month plan. There might be a $200 with that one. Again, I'm confused up at that level because I don't pay. But that's what you might need to face with your agent if it goes out there and it uses up all the computer, all the tokens, which is basically like quarters in a slot machine. You only get a certain amount of gameplay with a certain amount of tokens. If it burns through those, doing all this excessive research and not being careful in the way that it spends the tokens and then asks the questions, then you could actually run into walls. And now you're shut down for a few days because your large language model ran itself out, or you're going to be forced with paying extra money. Just watch out for yourselves. It is still kind of new. Once we get them, these particular agents, out there working for a lot of us. We're going to find that these different companies are probably going to unveil these. So if you're using them from a different company, the other question is now they have even more access than they had before. There's going to probably be some safety protocols put onto it so you don't get your yourself in trouble, and there might be somebody to blame if in fact it does do something that it shouldn't do. They're still going to be working on these things. It isn't really early, but it is kind of sort of a little dangerous at this point to really start putting a lot of stuff together. Do your research, look online, ask yourself the question if somebody's giving you information about, oh, it's simple, let's do this. Find out what their play is, what's their position in the world. Are they those people that like to see other people get themselves in trouble, or you to be that test case or whatever? I'll close with this. If people are asking you what you do, and I see this in a lot of webinars for real estate agents, I see it with particular title people maybe and escrow people that want to take you out and want to level up your business. They extract from you what you do. And you're very easy to offer it because you want to help people and you think they're there helping you. They just take your information, repackage it, and give it to another competitor in the market. So be wary with what you share. Hold that back a little bit. It's probably not really as important as you think it is, at least for their advancement and them understanding you, but it could cause you harm because they're going to share it with somebody. And I have historical records of a lot of this happening when I used to be very free with giving information. I've, of course, stopped that. And now I see that everything's changed in that world, which is a lot better, at least for yours truly. So before you give it to the world and start telling everybody what you're up to and how you do this and do that, pull back a little bit and see how self-serving that is or how globally serving that happens to be. Be careful, be afraid, and watch out for yourselves. Anyway, I'm Connor with Honor. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.